This is the Sports Timeout Podcast with Tony Caranco, Tristen Howe, and your host, Wes Underwood.
Nice. And it's that time again, everyone. Welcome into the Sports Timeout Podcast, brought to you by Jefferson's and Kraken Cajun Seafood House in Joplin. And, well, if you're in the mood for some fresh Cajun, head on over to Kraken Cajun Seafood House in Joplin across from Moe's on Main Street. And if you're in the mood for some wings, head to Jefferson's behind Books A Million on Rangeline. Wes Underwood with Tony and Tristen this week, and, some Mike Tyson dancing to Ice Ice Baby with us. Getting some things going here, but Tony, do you you kind of brought me onto this one. Does it say anything else? I'm not quite sure what he does here.
I don't know, dude. It's just Mike Tyson being Mike Tyson. He's a goofy, funny dude, but I love it.
He is, and going from boxing, definitely don't want to get in the ring with that guy. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's why he was probably dressed up like that, I don't know. But we'll open up NBA Finals, and, it's been a few days now, fellas, and we're going to talk about the new pressing issue, and that is Steph Curry now in the GOAT category. I mean, this comes after his fourth title last week, and, look, everybody calls LeBron the GOAT, and he also has 4 titles, and he's now 1 away from Kobe, along with LeBron, who has 5. And, LeBron and Steph are both 2 away from MJ, who was also 6 for 6 in the NBA Finals, by the way. But not to mention he had 6 titles with that team in 2 different eras there. And, lots to talk about here. But, Tony, we'll go ahead and start you. What are your thoughts?
I don't think Steph Curry's the GOAT. I'll be upfront with that.
Okay.
Do I think he's a great player? Yes, absolutely. I think he's one of the, if not the best shooter, up to this point.
Yeah.
I think he's, I personally would rather have, prime LeBron on my team than prime Curry on my team. If I could have both of them, obviously I would. But I would choose prime LeBron over Curry. Plus, Curry only has that 1 Finals MVP so far. They gave it to Kevin Durant the last time they won it, and then they gave it to Iguodala before. So at that point, Iguodala has just as many trophies with the Warriors. As many championship as the Warriors do. So does Draymond Green. We're not talking about them being the GOAT. Klay Thompson, same thing. I think he's a great shooter, one of the better shooters in this area for sure. I think to not take anything away from him, I think he's an absolutely great player. I just don't think he's, GOAT worthy just yet.
Okay. Tristen, your thoughts?
So, yeah, I just don't understand the whole GOAT debate because, not only is it 2 different eras. I mean, that's like saying Mike Tyson could beat up Muhammad Ali. I mean, that's 2 totally different eras, but 2 different GOATs, So, yeah, Tony made a good point. Steph Curry is probably the greatest shooter ever. But, yeah, I probably wouldn't put him there as the GOAT. I still, to this day, probably think that it's MJ versus LeBron in that category, as it should be, in my opinion. But if you were to put it as a all-time team, Steph Curry is definitely starting the all-time team at point guard. So that's my opinion on that.
Tony?
And another thing that I was going to say, I think this same kind of topic, GOAT topic, I think MJ, what he did for his time, I think MJ was an amazing player. And I think with time, the game changes, so if it wasn't for MJ, we wouldn't have LeBron, we wouldn't have had Kobe, we wouldn't have Steph Curry. So I think what MJ did, to me, I think what MJ did and how he changed the game makes him the GOAT. I think LeBron is a great player and probably a better athlete than Michael Jordan. And, in my opinion, probably a better basketball player. but I feel like in order to be the GOAT, you have to, do a little bit more for the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he did.
He did indeed created a whole new brand. And another guy though that kind of played along with MJ, one that we forget about here, Steve Kerr. I mean, the guy has 9 rings now, and that's as a player and a coach combined. But then you look at these other guys, and you have Bill Russell, who I think was untouchable when it comes to championships. I mean, he has 11. Very underrated guy, doesn't get talked about that much. And then most of his teammates on the Celtics, I mean, those guys had 10 rings. And then, you have Phil Jackson with 11. So he's up there with Bill Russell. And then now Steve Kerr, he's along the way. I mean, he got to coach with Phil for a little bit as an intern, as a player. He kind of bench coached. I mean, he sat there on the bench for a lot of the time, but then came in like a Steph Curry situation and shot the 3. But he got to watch Phil Jackson coach those teams, and then got put in clutch situations and did what he needed to do, kind of like Ray Allen a few years back. But I mean, Kerr is very underrated. And I mean, he was coached by Phil Jackson, as I just mentioned, who, as was Kobe and MJ and Shaq and so on. I mean, a lot of people were coached by that guy, and a lot of people won championships, but Phil Jackson's up there. Steve Kerr's climbing his way. Steve Kerr is climbing his way. He's 2 away from 11 all time, and he could go further than that if Curry can continue to stay healthy. And lots of talks about LeBron coming in. Lots of talks about LeBron staying over there on that side of the country, over in California, and just moving up the coast a little bit. So I don't know. This one's tough here too. I mean, Steve Kerr's got a lot going.
Yeah, I definitely think Steve Kerr is the best, I guess you could say.
He is the best 3-point shooter of all time.
He is. He has the highest. He's the highest rated. But I want. He's like you said. He's just clutch. And he might have not been, the best guy on his team, but he was definitely somebody that brought a lot of value. And has been giving back to the game. So maybe we should consider Steve Kerr to be in those GOAT talks.
Yeah.
Because like I mentioned earlier, it wasn't necessarily what Michael Jordan did on the court 100% that made him the GOAT. Is what he did off the court and how he revolutionized the game. And I think that how Steve Kerr, even though he's a whole lot older in his career, I think what he has done and how he has revolutionized the game. I mean, they built the whole team to beat the Warriors. You know what I mean? They and this was a team that was built organically. Through through the draft and through trades. Really mainly through the draft. And so these guys, they built a team. Built a team to beat this guy. It wasn't just Steph Curry. It was what's all it was really Steve Kerr. They built the team to beat Steve Kerr.
Yeah, it's true. And Tristen, kind of agree there?
Yeah, I agree. And to kind of touch on your point that you made there, Wes, earlier, that I mean, in my opinion, I still think that Phil Jackson, as of now, is the greatest coach of all time. Like you said, he coached Michael Jordan, Steve Kerr himself, Shaq, Kobe, and those guys are arguably somewhere, somewhere in the top 50, top 100 players of all time. So, and Jackson has 11 rings with those guys, and you can't honorable mention Scottie Pippen, basically the whole Bulls franchise at that time. But no, give Steve Kerr a couple more years, probably 5, I'd say, and we'll be talking about Steve Kerr as the new GOAT. Especially like you said, Wes, if Klay Thompson and Steph can stay healthy and they can keep great guys around them, then yeah, Steve Kerr is going to end up being the GOAT for sure in the coaching category.
I'm telling you, watch for LeBron to make the hop. I mean, Clippers ain't got nothing, so he's going to the Warriors. It's going to be Lakers are trying to figure out Russell Westbrook right now, so we'll see what happens. And next we'll go ahead and go to the NHL and to the Stanley Cup Finals. It began last week, and the Lightning made things interesting the other night. Do you guys still call the Avs here? And if so, is the series over? Tristen, we'll start you.
I don't think the series is over by any means. I think, Tampa Bay has at least one more game, or maybe they'll end up going to game 7, but I'm not making any haste decisions here because of what happened last week. So I think the Avalanche still have it, but again, I think it's too early to tell. So we should not take Tampa Bay out of the equation just yet.
Okay, Tony.
Sorry, what did you say? Did you say me? It kind of cut out there.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm also going with the Avalanche.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with my pick, and like I said, the whole reason I picked them, not because I really know a whole lot about the league and hockey, is just
Same.
Statistically. I mean, they've just scored more points, they've won more games.
Yeah.
That's just kind of a really easy rule of thumb to follow. If you score more points, you're going to win. So.
Yeah, very true. On that note, we now head to the NFL, and we're going to talk Chiefs here. News came out that Mahomes caught wind of Tyreek's podcast, and, he's surprised and a little confused here. I mean, yeah, I would be too. Do you guys think Tyreek is starting to become the next Antonio Brown, or do you guys think he makes sense? And he's also stated that he didn't get enough touches and yet led the team in touches. So I don't know. Tristen, we'll start you here.
I think he's definitely out of pocket for those comments. Patrick Mahomes has already broken a lot of records the way it is in his short NFL career. And some of those passes were not even to Tyreek Hill. And if I do remember correctly, Tyreek Hill has dropped passes in very clutch situations where it could have turned the tide if he would have just caught the ball. But so for Tyreek Hill to call Patrick Mahomes trash, I mean, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. So, and Patrick Mahomes definitely fed him the ball. And, a lot of the times he dropped the ball, a lot of the times he caught the ball. So in my opinion, Patrick Mahomes is the reason why Tyreek Hill is able to put the deuces up. So take that information what you will, if that's what the saying is. I don't remember.
Tony, you guys got anything here?
Yeah. So personally, I think that, is Tyreek Hill the next Antonio Brown? Probably not. I don't think he's as toxic. I don't think that Tyreek Hill is really toxic in general. I just think he's, he has to do a little bit of talking in order for him to stay relevant, especially when he's going to a way lesser team.
Yeah.
So I'm not, I don't think that it's really that bad to say. But, RG3 just made a tweet not too long ago saying, the Chiefs are way deeper now in wide receiver.
Yeah.
So they got rid of Tyreek Hill, and they were able to pick up Juju, MVS, Sky Moore, and Josh Gordon, Corey Coleman, and Justin Ross. They have a bunch of receivers now, so they have a bunch of depth on offense.
Dude, Justin Ross, freak, man. One-handed grabs on the sideline. Justin Ross, he's looking great in OTAs right now.
Yeah. Again, I personally think it's they should have gone with some more defensive guys if they want to be a better rounded team. Whenever you put all your weight on the back of Patrick Mahomes,
indeed,
that's when they lose games. If they can alleviate some stress by having a really good defense, Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to do more. His career is going to be able to last more, because he's getting hurt a lot less, But in my opinion, I think that they definitely got the upper hand on Tyreek Hill even, but I think they could have done a little bit better with it.
Hey, I cover my face because that's what the defense was playing like at the beginning of last year, and they may start off that way too this year. So who knows? And I don't know. And next up, we'll go ahead and talk College World Series. And Tristen, we'll begin with you. Who's your Final Four now? Who you got winning out here in the Final Four?
Well, we already have Oklahoma and Texas A&M and Ole Miss, and I'm picking Arkansas.
Okay.
But overall to win it, I mean, I'm gonna have to go with my home team here, and that's gonna be the Oklahoma Sooners.
Okay.
But I think it's gonna be Oklahoma and Ole Miss and it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a shootout. Whoever is able to score runs at late part of the game, I think Oklahoma ends up squeaking by and winning the.
I heard Oklahoma will miss. Okay, Oklahoma will miss. No, Ole Miss. Yeah. Tony,
they never do.
Yeah, no.
Definitely not Oklahoma. And not because I hate Oklahoma, just because Tristen chose them. Tristen seems to choose everybody that loses.
I'm going to go with Oklahoma all the time.
He's picked the Avalanche so far, so I'll give him kudos on that one.
I'm not always wrong.
Hey, maybe. We'll see. I'm going to go Arkansas here, by the way. All the way.
I'm also going Arkansas.
All right. So that's 2 for Arkansas, 1 for OU. Okay. And, well, special this week. Lastly, Tony got a chance to sit down in a Zoom interview with Sporting head coach Peter Vermes to talk about some struggles and a key injury check-in. So, yeah, check that out real quick.
Yeah, we don't expect anything different. I think that in any game, whether you're playing the team that's in the USL or you're playing a team in MLS, if you're sleeping on the day, if you're not competing, if you don't have effort from your players, from your team, then you put yourself at big risk to lose. And so I've never, ever in my life, and I mean this personally, I've never underestimated my opponent. And I preach that stuff all the time. And so I hope that, and I think our guys are prepared to understand that, this is a team that wants to win as badly as we do. And we have to be prepared to compete and bring everything that we have. And the first thing that's in that equation is effort.
Next question goes to Tony. Tony, your line is open.
Hi, Coach. This is Tony. I'm calling from Sports Timeout podcast here in Joplin, Missouri. I got one question for you. I haven't seen much updates on Alan Pulido. See how his recovery is going. He's from my hometown, so I was just really curious on if you got an update on him, how he's coming along post surgery.
Actually, excellent. I would say that he's ahead of schedule for sure. His strength, one of the big things when you have a major surgery in your knee, or especially your knee, is usually you lose an incredible amount of muscle. He has recovered in that sense. His strength is fantastic. And he had a checkup not too long ago with the doctors. They do a couple of periodic checkups throughout the process, and everything looks really good in the way that it is healed. So I think everybody is very positive at the moment, and he continues to just progress. When you watch him walk around here and do stuff, you wouldn't know that he had a major knee surgery. So yeah, he's doing very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how good these guys are and how much they are struggling right now, Tony. I mean, can you believe that? I mean, they've got a talented roster. These guys have been in contention over the last few years, and I mean, wow.
Yeah, they've won the whole thing, a few times within the last few years.
Yeah.
But it happens. There's good seasons and there's bad seasons. And soccer is just one of those sports that you can make one little mistake and it's gonna cost you the whole game, because there's not a whole lot of scoring. So, but really, it's a game of mistakes, and less of a game of making the right decision. So it's whoever's gonna make the slightest mistake, you can take advantage of it and win.
And you got one more here. Tony also got to talk to Logan Indenebe and ask him his thoughts on the World Cup coming to Kansas City. Check it out.
Our next question goes to Tony. Tony, your line is open.
Hey, Logan. My question comes for the World Cup. What do you think the World Cup, Kansas City hosting the World Cup in 2026, is going to affect sport in KC or even soccer in this region? What do you think that's going to do for you guys?
Yes, for sure. The World Cup will affect the city also, because like the World Cup it's the biggest competition ever. So for me, it's a good thing Kansas City have the World Cup. I'm very happy with this because they will waiting for this. So yeah, it was a long time. So yeah, I think it will be good because like I think more people will know a little bit more about soccer, will look a little bit more about soccer. So that's good things for us also, because maybe we will have more fun. So yeah, that's good things.
Logan, thank you very much for the time this morning.
You're welcome.
I mean, yeah, they seem pretty excited too, and it's awesome. I'm excited as a fan. I want to get up there. I want to go to it. I can't wait until 2026 if we're here. So, I mean, yeah. You excited, guys?
Yeah,
Definitely.
And I think his response is, I guess there's really the perfect response, because everybody wants, the World Cup to come here, and
yeah,
I think it's going to be very good for soccer in this country, because it's not super popular. People prefer to, football and baseball and
this is going to be
basketball. But yeah, and Coach Pete, he brought up that right now the pool is only getting bigger, and it's the biggest that it's ever been in the United States for soccer players. I personally, I like soccer. I'd like to see the MLS be, one of the top, if not the top league to play in, one day, instead of having all these, awesome players play overseas in Europe. It'd be awesome to have them over here in the United States.
Indeed. It would definitely help the game. I 100% agree, and I'm excited to see it grow. On that, we will head into the local sports update brought to you by Trackside Burgers. Nothing on my end, but Tony, what's up in the fighting world? Tristen, you got anything in the fighting world also? What do we got going on, guys?
So just to recap last week, I know you guys have seen that Theron Cade Crouch, also Midwest Maniac, he won by technical knockout in the first round. It was a good fight. He dropped him twice, and that second time they called it. And really shout out to Mossberg Boxing and the Heartland Boxing Gym. Both teams performed very well. I think Heartland went undefeated. All their fighters, won, and then Mossberg Boxing, they had one loss, and really it was in the very last round. In my opinion, Kyle Gunther was winning the whole thing, and it happens. It's a fight. He got caught, but in the fourth round, in my opinion, he was dominating. But but it was a good night overall. It was good for local boxing, and I'm excited to see the boxing grow in this area as well, because I feel like every time I go, there's more and more people there supporting and having a good time. And a lot of that, is to credit Cade. He does a great job at marketing himself, and in the WFC, they're the promotion that puts on the shows. Mm-hmm. So I think that, in my opinion, the last time that they had the fights, they've been getting only better and better and better every single time, and I enjoy going to them for sure.
Yep. Same here.
I actually have an update too.
What's up?
I don't remember which promotion it was, but it was at Kansas Crossing Casino over the weekend. Yeah. For anyone who knows, my dad is Sean Clifford. He is the MMA trainer at Dropping Brotherhood, and he had a couple fighters fight over the weekend. Gage Hudson won via second round submission. Wow. In his fight. I'm not sure about Zach, but I do know that at least one of his fighters won over the weekend in Pittsburgh, Kansas, same night as the other event was going on as well. So congratulations to Gage Hudson on his win.
Awesome.
And I hope to. I haven't been to a fight in quite some time when it happens to be my dad's team fighting. So I'm hoping to make one here pretty soon.
I haven't made it to anybody's yet. TJ, Bad News Britain, man, you're lucky because I've been to one of yours. But I got to get to these other guys too because they're phenomenal and they've all been putting in hard work. I know a lot of these guys work together too. So
yeah, and I'm sure Tony will agree with me that there is a lot of underlooked talent in this state alone, let alone the 4-state area. Yep. So, like Tony said, I'm really excited for combat sports in general to really just take off in this state. And so big promoters like Dana White and the rest of them can just see the raw talent that comes out of the state alone. I'm really excited.
Yeah, same here. Tony, what's up?
Yeah, so kind of to work off what Tristen was saying, they've been, like I said, they've been doing a really good job lately. And I think the guys that are fighting right now are paving a way for the next generation of fighters to come up because, I've seen, I've been around a little bit, to kind of see the fighters from different spots of the country. And, it seems like if you live in New York, you have a way easier time of making it just because, there's a little bit more traction over there.
Yeah.
Here, there's not a whole lot of, promoters and there's not a whole lot of people like trying to boost it up. There's not a lot of people, the pool is just not as big.
Yeah.
So I like seeing these people pave the way for the next generation. I think within the next 10 to 15 years, you're going to see a big name come out of, the 4-state area.
Yeah.
And I think eventually, fighting is going to be a very big thing in this area. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah, same here. And we will now head into the 2-minute warning brought to you by Hot Stone Pizzeria here in the Webb City. Go check them out today. And in our 2-minute warning, we have Outlaws Baseball yet again. And you can catch them on the road this weekend as today they will head to Des Moines. Then tomorrow they will be in St. Joe. Friday and Saturday, they have a 2-game stand with the Clarinda A's. And Sunday and Monday, they will head to Carroll, Iowa for 2 games as well. And those 2 games will begin at 4:05 p.m. All the other games will begin at 7 p.m. And, well, of course, all these games and events are pending to the weather and the current and fluid COVID-19 situation. So tune into each team's social media pages for times and updates. And, well, the music's here again, everybody, and let's see if can we all get this Mike Tyson thing going? I mean, I want to get him up here. Everybody, yeah, he's dancing away with us here, yeah, on the Sports Timeout Podcast, limited edition. We'll see y'all next week here on the Sports Timeout Podcast. Take care, guys.
See you guys.
See ya.